Okay, guys, welcome to the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net here at the Southern Idaho Command. We're about 10 minutes away from starting the net here, and I kind of like to start the live stream a few minutes early. Nobody, well, actually, looks like one person in. Nope, four people. Okay, what I did just find out is I need to get rid of the KB7 DFP repeater, the 44200. Can't listen to both of them at the same time because that's bad. Listening to the same thing analog. Listening to the same thing in both analog and digital. Not good. Anyway, 15 people on the live stream. Good morning, guys. Today, what I think we're gonna talk about today is the prepper community, is building a community or joining a community. And I want to hear from you guys. I get a lot of great comments on the live stream, almost even more so than I get on the net. Although I'd love to get them on the net more than the live stream. The live stream was kind of almost an afterthought, but it's kind of become a very integral part of this thing, man. And I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys that maybe aren't on the net itself, but you're watching, you're participating here with your comments, with your views, and 25 people already, and we haven't even started the net. Isn't that cool? 3 thumbs up. Thank you, guys. I'm just going to continue to enjoy my coffee, get ready here, and I'll talk to you guys. You know what? I mean, we've got 10 minutes. Any questions from out there in live stream land? Feel free to start the chat. Thumbs up are rolling in. I don't know. Maybe the chat isn't working this morning. I'm going to type something in. And, there it goes. There it goes.
N7GRS testing.
Garrett got you in there.
Perfect, thank you. I'm trying to there's X now where I'm connected to that Caldwell repeater. It seems to be working.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. And welcome to the Southern Idaho Command once again.
Thanks, Bob.
Hey, we're already live on the live stream, and the comments are coming in pretty decently now. I think once I triggered the thing, it started working.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it sounds real good there coming from one of your local repeaters. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Garrett, I'm going to go ahead and just mark you in for check-ins. Is there anybody else who wants to do an early check-in?
Is M7MDM and November 7 at Mike Delta Mike, any station radio check.
Yeah, N7MDM, K6UDA in Twin Falls. Good morning.
Oh, Roger, good morning to you. I just crossed the Snake River from Ontario into Fruitland. I'm headed to work in Nampa this morning. I've got a Yaesu FD4 I'm playing around with here and was trying to figure out why sometimes, well, what's the difference between me just keying up on the Wires X frequency versus holding down the DX key until it looks like it locks in and gives me a readout of the station and shows me connected to it. So I actually don't know what the difference between those two are.
Really no difference. You're coming in, it looks like, through the Caldwell repeater, and we're about ready to start a net here in a few minutes. You're welcome to stick around, listen, participate, whatever. And but as far as hooking up, if you're on a repeater and the repeater is hooked up to a room on Wires X, you're connected on Wires X.
Well, roger that. I think I'll hang out because I certainly got time. We got about another half hour of driving here. So I'm going to stand by and listen to the net then, since you so kindly invited me. Thank you. So, N7MDM, standing by for net.
All right, good to have you, K6UDA, and we'll get started in about 5 minutes. Do we have anybody that wants to do an early check-in? All right, KK7DEV, is it? All right, KK7DVD. Good to have you in there. And how are you getting in? Are you on YSF or wires?
No, sir, I'm coming in your repeater. How mobile today?
Oh, okay. Now I'm seeing you. You're 4.5 miles from me. Very good. And DE. Okay, real good. That's awesome. I love to hear the local guys. Because to me, that's really where it's all about. All right, Terry, I already got you marked in.
W7LPN and 7MDM, you came in clear. I show low bars on it, but I heard you.
Today, wires, check-ins. And K6UDA, we'll do one more round of early check-ins, and then we're going to start the net in about 2 minutes. All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining me again. And about 1 minute here, and we'll get busy. And I gotta get my other little deal up here so I can read my opening script. I normally don't do the show with a script at all. That's normally done just me. But this, I'm trying to do it all net-like. So, hey, here's to it. Thomas, good for you getting the family members set up with comms. That's awesome. Work on Simplex. That is super important, and I'm gonna go ahead and start the net now. All right, welcome to the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. This net meets every Saturday morning at 0900 hours Mountain Time on the K6UDA repeater located here in Twin Falls, Idaho. This is a digital-only net accessible via Wires X room 40448, which is the Idaho command, on YSF reflector 56026, which is the YouTuber's YSF room or YSF reflector, the Hanson Butte 2-meter fusion repeater 145.170 here in the Magic Valley, and for you local hams without a digital radio, you can also join in on the KB7 DFP repeater 442.000 in analog mode, and you can participate. The purpose of this net is the free exchange of information related to emergency preparedness, commonly known as prepping. We encourage deep dives into subjects related to food, water, shelter, personal protection, weapons, survival tactics, medical issues, communications, gear, and techniques. I'm looking for subject matter experts to lead discussions on various subjects. If you have material you'd like to present or discuss when you check in, please indicate that you have a subject. For example, K6UDA with a subject when you check in. Although not primarily political, discussion of relevant political, cultural, or religious events are welcome in the context of situational awareness and survival. We're going to do something a little different from other nets, I think, since we've got so many things going on the comms end of this. We're going to take check-ins in the following order. I'm going to ask for local repeater check-ins, then Wires X check-ins. That means if you're not in the Magic Valley, operating off of one of the 3 Magic Valley repeaters that are hooked up here, then YSF check-ins, and then live stream comments. Please check in with your first name, your call sign, your location, and how you're getting into the net. For instance, are you on the local repeater, Wires X, YSF? That being said, do we have any check-ins? And we'll start first with local repeater check-ins on the K6UDA repeater, the KB7SQS or KB7 DFP repeaters.
I doubled with you, Bob. Did you get my check-in KB7SQS?
Yeah, Lance, I got it that time. Let me get you marked in here. I'm trying a new check-in deal on a spreadsheet, guys. So you got to bear with me a little bit. Anybody else? Local check-ins on any of the 3 local repeaters?
That's available. I know Ken's doing analog too, so those are the 2 that'll be available analog, and then the 14517 that also is connected in. So that's what I got. KB7SQS.
Thanks, Lance. And there was somebody that came in on top of you for just a minute. Can I get that last? There was another local check-in.
AJ7LTV on the local 442 repeater. This is Alan in Flint Falls.
All right, Alan. Good to hear you this morning. Anybody else? Any other local check-ins? All right, how about Wires X? Wires X check-ins from anywhere in the world.
It's November 7, Mike Delta Mike, location just outside of Middleton, Idaho, mobile eastbound to 84. Just pointing out the subject matter, mine would be personal protection of law enforcement.
All right, Mike. Thanks for joining us again, and good to have you. You're in good company. There's a few active duty and retired cops around here. Any other Wires X check-ins?
Kilo Delta Delta Sierra Charlie Romeo, New Jersey. Yeah. And in Arkansas, handle here is Scott.
All right, I've got KD2, SCR, and WAV. Well, I need the first part of your call again.
Kilo 0.
All right, K0 WAV, and your first name? Whoop.
The name is Scott, Sierra Charlie Oscar Tango Tango. I'm in Northwest Arkansas, coming to you via my Clearnote and SYM.
All right, very good. Good to hear you, and welcome to the net. Let's move on and take YSF check-ins. Anybody else on YSF?
Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India. I'm also on Wires X. I don't think you got me. KO4 PDI. How you doing, Bob?
I'm in Crystal Beach, Texas, retired police chief, specialty school safety.
Okay, I got KO4 PDI, and then somebody else who was a police chief, but I didn't get the call sign.
Okay, KC5 YZ Kilo Charlie 5, Yankee Mike Charlie, retired police chief, Crystal Beach, Texas, school safety is my subject.
All right, very good. And school safety, fantastic. Let me find the right tab here that I can write that one down. And give me a second, guys. Okay. Any other check-ins? I'll just open it up to everybody. Any other check-ins?
Yeah, good morning, Bob. This is Kilo 5, Victor Oscar Papa. The name is Paul. I'm in Little Elm, Texas, about 20 miles north of Dallas. I host the note here at my home for our K5LRK Club repeater in the Colony, Texas. And thanks to YouTube popping up your live stream, I'm able to catch this net. And yeah, this is all things I'm interested in. Thanks for hosting, and looking forward to the net. K5VOP Pack.
Hey, thanks for joining. That is awesome. And are you on YSF or are you on wires?
This is a Wires X node plugged into a Yaesu FTM 400.
Fantastic. Good choices. Good choices. One more call for check-ins. Anywhere, anybody, and then we'll start moving on. Okay, we'll do some more check-ins a little bit later. First, I want to see W6DUG. Doug, are you in the gallery there? Okay. Don't hear Doug. Doug had some information for us that he wanted to pass on. But we have, let's see, who was it? KC5MC that had information, school safety information.
I guess that's qualified as KC5YMC, like in YMCA.
All right, KC5YMC, and I'll correct that here. Go ahead and take it, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mom. I wasn't really out there to say I had any information. I was just here in case there were some questions regarding preparedness for situations where you might have kiddos in school and what kind of process we're trained to deal with and that. So anyway, if you have any questions, I'm here for them.
Fantastic. Very, very good. Let's see. Then we'll go ahead and move on. And where we wanted to start today, I wanted to talk about building a community, a preparedness community, or joining a community, and where to start. Guys, these bullet points that I'm going to bring up, these are conversation starters. I want you guys to join in, to lead the conversation here. So what I've come up with is to, number one, start with your family. You're gonna you want the pros in this. They are your family. You don't get to choose them. They come first in your life. We all know that. Our families come first. They're your first priority. Yourself. Well, God, yourself, your family, or your family then yourself. Cons: you don't get to pick your family, so there is that. Next, close friends. Sometimes they're as close as your family. Many times they're better than family. And you can rely on a few of those close friends. I have, in my life, I have a few of those close friends that I would say I could rely on them no matter what, no matter where they are, where I am. If they need me or I need them, we will be there for each other. I'm going to let it drop. Oh. Hey, Doug, you connected to the wrong node. Okay. I got dropped. I got dropped here. And so I'm back. We will move on. I know Doug was trying to get in DUG, but he connected to, he dropped into my other node. Doug, are you back? Are you in now?
It's November 7th, Mike.
N7 MDM.
November 7th, Mike. Delta Mike. Go.
Yeah. Did you have traffic?
Oh, I heard you talking about friends, and then you've been breaking up a little bit on my trip here. I wasn't sure if you were asking for comments.
Yeah. Do you have a comment or something to add? And guys, thanks for joining if you're in the live stream. Okay, W6DUG, are you in there now?
Learned a few things. Some of the personal things I learned. You can't really pick up as a civilian, and you won't need to get that kind of repeated experience unless you have a job that runs you through that kind of training over and over again. There was local unrest, which is
Oof. Mike, you're dropping in and out. I think you might be in a bad area. I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. Maybe hopefully you're driving out of Ontario and into Idaho. I think you said might have been in Middleton. So hopefully you're getting getting into better territory. Let me try one more time for W6DUG. Doug, are you in there yet? Okay. I guess Doug is not in there. He connected. Guys, when you're connecting in, you want to connect into the room, not into my node. What that does is it kicks my node out of the room and connects you up, or connects it up. So that's not the ideal way for me to connect to you. Let's see. Moving on. Neighbors. If your neighbors are like-minded, they can be a great ally. If not, I'm thinking neighbors can become a liability, especially during an SHTF event. I'm very lucky. I have neighbors here, my next door neighbors, that are pretty much on the same page. Everybody out here is pretty much preparedness minded, and so I'm not having any problems kind of putting together a new community since moving into this neighborhood. I kind of had a community going back in my old place, and that was nice. But then again, you know, if you've got a bad neighbor somewhere, that can be a problem. Best to I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's best to ignore the bad neighbor and, you know, kind of go around them, because during an event, a big event, I don't know if it's best to try to bring them into the fold, or at least figure out, are they going to play ball with you, or are they going to really be a huge liability? And let's open that one up right now. Any comments on neighbors in your group? Okay. Oh. Oh, looks like I doubled with somebody. Paul, go ahead and take it.
Thank you, Bob. I was giving other people a chance. I think that the way I look at neighbors, my neighbors across on either side of me are elderly couples, so I always look out for them when here in Texas, if we have some major event, or specifically like a major snowstorm or something, that I check in on them. But I think the important thing for us to do is to, in my opinion, is to not really give the information out of what you do have as far as being prepared, and you are only sharing that with those people that you are close with. If they're your neighbors, great. But I don't necessarily let anybody else know how prepared I am. I think the ones that I rely on the most are my ham radio buddies and neighbors, and then my church men's group neighbors. Those are the guys I kind of rely on. They aren't necessarily next door, but they're within 5 to 15-minute walk if necessary. So you definitely got to pick and choose who you trust. And that is a good question. I'd like to hear more about if anybody else has opinion on whether you bring someone in or not. I guess that's a case basis on whether to trust them. But that's an important question. Good for conversation. K5V will be back to you, Bob.
Yeah, K5VOP, K6EDA. That's that is a great question. That's something that I kind of struggle with. It's it's hard to ignore your neighbors, especially when something major happens. It's also a risk. If you don't know your neighbors, or if you've got a reason to distrust your neighbors, not having some kind of a, now, if you already know your neighbors are bad guys in your mind, or you've got some kind of a dispute with them, that's only going to get worse. You're going to have to kind of treat them like the enemy, which will be one more enemy when something really, really bad happens. And I'm talking, when it hits the fan, when the poop hits the fan. I want to ask, one of my, he's not so much a neighbor, but he's a good friend and my pastor, KJ7RAR. Terry, what is, you got any input on this?
Yeah, I was, by the way, I was reading the live chat, and one of the fellows just drank, says, I told my neighbors I'm not of the same mindset, and for that reason, I don't share the preparedness, because I don't want to put a target on my home. Did I cover you? Did you get me out?
Yeah, I agree, and I don't particularly share all my I don't share all my information with anybody. I share a little bit of information with a few people, and then little to no information with a lot of people. I mean, right now I'm sharing a lot of information, or a little bit of information, with a lot of people. A few of which may live, a few miles from me. And that's to say that, yeah, I've got a little bit of food. And I have maybe a gun or two. But that's as far as I go for a lot of people. A lot of what we do is up here in the brain. It's more your know-how than what you've got, than the toys that you have or the equipment you have. It's how to put it into use. And that's what makes the difference to me. I would love to hear more. Anybody else? Terry, you've got a lot of insight into neighbors, into having people. What would be your suggestion as to how to vet neighbors and associates?
Well, one thing that I do here in Idaho, which I didn't have at my last, before I retired in the past, is I know my neighbors. Before, I knew them by sight. Hey, John, how are you? But I didn't know them. And so here I'm knowing more of them, and where we have more communications and we talk and things like that, where I can kind of feel out good people, bad people, people that will need help, and I am free often to suggest, are you getting prepared, in case there is a shortage, and see how they respond. If they respond, I need that, well, then I just back off. If they're open, then I'm a little bit more open. I don't share what I have and how much or how little I have, and etc. Because I'm in Idaho here, everybody, or at least where I'm at, carry guns, has guns, and stuff like that. So people pretty much know that most households, at least on my block, are armed to some degree. So for me, I would say, get to know your neighbors that are around you, ones that you could depend on, ones that they might be able to depend on you if ever needed. That would be the first thing, and then be able to judge after you have some time with them. Over.
Yeah, good suggestions. Some of the suggestions that I would have is, right now, while times are relatively good, I would do the intel on your neighbors now. Now's the time to get to know them. Are they like-minded? Are they prepping now? Are they thinking about it now? Especially since it's no secret in any part of our society right now that we are so close to a collapse of some sort. We don't know if it's coming from a foreign enemy. We don't know if it's going to be an economic collapse, but it's all so close. I don't think it's ever been closer. Are they thinking about things? Are they looking to be self-reliant, or are they looking at the government to bail them out? And then what skill sets do your neighbors have? Are they mechanics? Do you have mechanics, carpenters? Do you have cops, medicals? Medical people, doctors, RNs, paramedics. Do you have farmers, engineers, comms people? Those are all critical categories that you're going to need if you're going to form a community. You're going to need mechanics to keep things running and to fix, if you've got one or more vehicles that are still running, say after an EMP, and I use the EMP I use an EMP as my worst case scenario. Do you have carpenters that can help fix, people's houses, or if you've got a community building that that more than one family are using as a fortress or a stronghold? Do we have enough carpentry skills to keep that going? Do we have cops or military people who know how to operate in some pretty adverse conditions and can head up security teams and kind of know some tactics? How about medical people? Do you have a doctor? Do you have a nurse, paramedic, somebody who is an expert in the medical field? Farmers in a long-term situation. Whoa. I don't even know if I was getting out. Am I even getting out?
K0WAV, you're loud and clear here. I had a couple comments if you have time for them.
Yeah, K0WAV, go ahead.
So kind of looking at the adages and philosophies of the past and such like that. One of them is you reap what you sow. So I guess the reaping part would be the harvesting of those relationships that you during the crisis. But you need to put in the time, the effort, and the investment into building those relationships with their neighbors, family,
talking about while things are good, helping out. I'm in a rural area, so you help out with, say if they're cutting hay or whatever, you can go help out. Just be there, show that you're willing to invest some time, of your time with them. Then that's the sowing, and then when the event happens, then when it comes time to harvest that effort and relationship, they know you, they know they can count on you, they know you have something to offer, and that you're a friend and willing to help. Doesn't work in all cases. Some people are just out the hotels and they're best left alone, or make a special list for them. But anyway, that's my comments and my ad for the conversation at this time. K0WAV, back to you, Bob.
Yeah, those are great points. Now is the time to get to know those people, to vet them, to see if you think you're going to trust them. Got a couple of comments here from people in the live chat. One guy, Chris, says that he doesn't let his neighbors know that he hunts. Depending upon where you are in the world or in the country, that is good information or good advice. If you're not in a friendly area, that's probably good advice. But then again, on the other hand, no man is an island, and you'll never survive a prolonged event on your own. You just can't do it. You can't be on guard, cooking, cleaning, gathering food, making fire, doing all the things that need to get done in order to survive a prolonged event. You can't do it all by yourself. So being part of some kind of a community, finding a community if you don't have one, is super important. And that's my opinion. Let's see. Before I cut myself off, I wanted to finish up my little list. There was farmers, engineers, people who know how to design stuff, and then comms guys. That's kind of all of us. No matter what else we fall under, we're all kind of the comms guys. And in that kind of an event, in a big event, we're going to become a very needed commodity. We'll become very. I'm getting a thing that says no audio. We're going to become very important as far as gathering intel from outside our own little areas, maybe getting news and information in and out of our own little areas. And I don't know what to say. Hang on here for a second.
Let you know, K0WAV.
K0WAV, I think I cut you off. What was that?
I was saying you are loud and clear on YSF. I have had no audio dropouts or anything, so just giving you some feedback. Hope it helps. K0WAV.
All right, thank you. And then for those of us who might not, who maybe you move into a new community, there's community groups local churches, maybe meetup groups, Facebook groups, which I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but it does have some other good groups, local clubs, local ham radio clubs, which I've met some good people from. You can exchange a lot of information and resources. You could build possible trading partners out of there if you're not, directly joining a group or forming your own survival group. You can hit it off with one or more people in that group, make some close friends or associates. On the con side, there's a trust factor. You never know who else is in that group, and the guy who with the answers, he could be an agent for the other side, for the bad guys. Could the lurkers in whatever group, say a Facebook group, could they be building intel on other people, trying to find out what they have, where they are, kind of things, so they could go ahead and make a move once crap hits the fan? I don't know. I have a much harder time meeting people or trusting people I meet off of a Facebook group or a something like that than when I meet them face to face and kind of hang out with them, do something in some other setting that you could get to know people. I don't know. Let's open it up. Let's see if there's any other input from anybody else.
KJ7RAR.
Yeah, Terry, go ahead. Take it.
One of the things I was thinking about is speak to what you just spoke to, but I'll go back for a second. When we open up with our neighbors, one of the problems I could see coming from that is that, our neighbors have family and friends. And even though we may be open with them, and if they needed help, we might help them, but if it is prolonged, or let's say we have no food for a while, they're going to want their family and their friends to be able to be supplied, and we could end up becoming a free market if we're not careful. That's one of the things. But you mentioned getting to know people. I agree with you. I wouldn't open up to anything on Facebook. But I think one of the things, and one of the folks commented about their church or their men's group, that's a good place. Your ham radio club that you've made friends with, you develop friendships and relationships, and you can trust them to some degree, as long as they know that there's a limit on the kind of help that you can give them. Another one is just groups that we connect with. Like I'm a fly fisherman, so I'm a part of another group, a fly fishermen's group club. And so you develop relationships with them. And so those are the folks that I think we can often draw from and be able to help them. And so you get to know them more than just bypass. So I think helping, that's going to help us to trust people is to develop friends from other groups too, like the ham club and the flat club, or some other club, your church, or some other organization. That's going to help eliminate people that you would not trust or wouldn't know whether you could trust them or not. Over.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's this is one of those subjects that the more you think about it, the more you can you could drive yourself nuts trying to figure it out. I don't have all the answers. I have a few ideas. I don't I don't know if I'm right, and that's why I ask you guys. What are your what are your feelings? And I'm sure there's a lot. There's a lot of guys out here that have some ideas or have thought about it and have some some feeling on it. I know I'm going to read you a couple of comments here out of the off the live stream. Jeff says that we have plans, just not involving immediate neighbors. Will involve rally points, things that will require light travel via foot or bicycle in the event that autos are down. And that's something you got to think of is almost everything that you're going to have to do. I mean, if you live like I do, 10-15 minute car ride out of town, you have to understand that if the cars aren't running after, say, an EMP, or your cars aren't running, you're going to be on foot or on bicycle, and or on horseback. So you have to kind of plan accordingly, and you have to kind of think. You're going to have to start really thinking locally, not, I got to drive 15 minutes to get into town to go do my trading. Prep Ham Paul says his ham radio club guys and church friends are the ones that he trusts and are the most like-minded. And I agree. Those are the people, to me, in my life right now that are the most like-minded. I'm going to let it drop here. Jeff also says he feel the Deer Camp compound as a rally point for those trusted makes a great option. It's just getting there in that EMP event situation. Yeah. And that's something you have to develop or you have to join into is the Deer Camp compound. And then, one of the guys locally here says he's only getting about 50% of the audio on the 44200 repeater. So, Alan, hopefully you can get on one of the other repeaters, maybe on digital, and get more of this. Any other comments on the net? KC5YMC, go ahead.
Regarding rally points and things of that nature, if it's a catastrophic EMP event, you need to understand that the rally points is a protecting school districts. All school districts have representation plans, and just that one of them is based on electronic databases, and those won't be operational. So, very good possibility your kiddos are going to be stuck in a reunification building and no way to verify where they go. So you'll need to probably figure out how that's going to work, because the cell phones won't be working. So having your kids know where to rally if they had to sneak out a back door or whatever. Probably would be a good thing to talk about.
Yeah, that's something that I had not thought about, and wondering, because you've kind of got the intel on that, is if there was something major like an EMP. Let's say the EMP hits most of the cars, and I would imagine the school buses are going to be in op. How do they intend on getting kids to these camps or these centers? I mean, I can't imagine them moving a bunch of kids around here, at least.
Well, the short answer to that is there are no plans for EMP. School districts do not prepare for those type of things. They prepare for chemical spills, fires, tornadoes, mass shootings, and things of that nature. But they do not plan for a widespread catastrophic type of electronic failure, communications failure. And even with the unification plans that they're required to have, they are not really practiced. They don't practice them on a regular basis, and they're hardly ever stress tests. So if I still had kids in school, I would be trying to figure out how they could sneak out of the pack or someplace on an event like that and get to a point where we can get to them, because I don't think there's not going to be a plan for the most major of events like that.
Yeah, I would kind of tend to agree. That's something that I hadn't thought of. Something that I will probably bring up with my kids to talk to my grandkids about. My kids, they used to call me Daddy Doomsday, but hopefully I have instilled a little bit of common sense in them, and they think about this stuff a little bit, and they don't trust the system, at least 100%. Great points. Jeff brings up a great book to read. Is called 1 Second After by William Forsten. I read this book years ago. Fantastic book. You can get it on Audible. You could get it on Kindle, or you can order it. It's a fictional book, but it deals with an EMP pop over middle America, and kind of what happens afterwards. It is a great book. I read it. Kind of one of my go-to books. Other books that I've read are Patriots, and a few other books. Maybe we'll talk about good reading one of these days. I don't know. Any other comments? I think we've been going about an hour, and I'm kind of running out of stuff. Any other comments from anybody?
KJ7RAR. I have a question for Bob at KC5YMC. Is he still on?
KC5YMC, are you still around? You got a question?
JC5 YMZ. Go ahead for your question.
This is KJ7. How are you? Most, at least in the more populated areas, most schools are fairly close to homes. You know, like I have a school just for elementary school just down the street. In an emergency like that, are the kids locked in and not able to hop on their bicycles and head home, or have their parents come and pick them up? Is that the kind of situation, or do you know?
Guys, great comments I'm getting here. This is freaking awesome.
School and the bus for parents. Could you repeat the question, please? Okay, I will do this over here. I'll do it over here. They said most schools are fairly close to homes, at least in the local communities. The question is are kids walking down to where they can't get on their bikes and ride home, or do they not, or will they allow their parents to pick them up if they come?
You know, for those of you guys that have kids at home, this is fantastic stuff. Stuff I hadn't thought about. Or like me, I got grandkids, school-age grandkids. Stuff I'd never thought about.
I'm sorry, Bob. I didn't pick up hardly any of that from RAR. Could you relay? Is it me, or is it you getting the same thing?
No, he was 100% here. His question was, seeing that most of the schools are in neighborhoods, would they allow kids to, get on their bikes and ride home, or are they going to lock them all down and wait for either parents to come pick them up, or some other outcome?
Okay, I'm having trouble with you now, so it's got to be on my end. Let me just try to answer the question the way I think what you're trying to say. In an event, okay, let's say it's something that's more or less less significant than an EMP. Let's say it's a weather emergency or a fire or something, chemical spill. The reunification process is if parents can safely pick up the kids at the school that they were left off at, elementary school, high school, whatever, then they would pick those kids up at those locations. They wouldn't necessarily have to be bused to another area for the reunification. If the area that the kid is at, their school, is in danger for some reason, and they would need to be relocated to a reunification facility to where the parents would have to pick them up from that location. I didn't get the entire question, but hopefully that's that answer for you. JC5 YMC.
Terry, did that answer your question?
Well, I think it just opens the door for more questions, so we'll just leave it at that for the time being.
All right, very good. And yeah, that is a man. That could be a topic on its own. Is dealing with the schools and the kids. Any other questions, comments, any other subjects that anybody wants to bring up?
With
Yeah, K0WAV, go ahead.
Thanks, Bob. I think the key on the dealing with kids in school would be whether it was a tactical event, like you said, say wildfire, chemical spill, some type of weather event, local thing, or if it was more strategic, like a whole countrywide thing or an EMP thing. I would say on the bigger one, you should have that would be like your contingency plan or your alternate plan, where you probably have to have something rehearsed with the kids on what they did and make sure that they know what to do, because if it's really big, I don't see those
Definitely.
fine individuals that the government has put in charge of our kids actually having the intestinal fortitude to actually stay put and take care of the kids. I just have this feeling they want to cut and run their own selves. So make sure the kids know what to do. That's just my 2 cents. K0, WAV.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think probably 95% of the educators are going to run around. They're going to, who knows? They won't have any idea what to do themselves, much less keeping the kids safe beyond what has been drilled into them for a school shooter situation or something like that. I don't think that they would be much help at all. Any other comments? I think at this point we've kind of exhausted this one. A couple of other things that I just wanted to put out there is training, putting your skill sets into practice, and that's not just training in firearms or training in radio. That is training in food prep, water filtration, putting a plan together for different crap hits the fan scenarios, and figuring out what everyone's job is going to be in an event. Hopefully, once you've identified a group or you've got a group kind of going, you can have a meeting, you can get together, and you could get jobs, expectations, and and another big one I think that people are going to have to talk about is say you've got a neighborhood group established. You're going to have, and they're going to have family that are going to show up. Whether it's elderly parents, the kids, the grandkids, the aunt and uncle, whoever, somebody in your family, you're going to have to expect them to show up. Better to let your group know that these are your family members. This is who kind of you're expecting. And if you're expecting them, what skills do they bring to the table? And hopefully people that you're allowing to come in are going to have something to bring to the table other than just a mouth to feed. I'm going to open it up last minute, anything, and I'm looking for suggestions for next week, for the topics for next week. Opening it up, K6UDA. Yeah, K5VOP, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been 11 years ham radio operator. I got on with Surge and Red Cross, and I've been in a lot of agencies and organizations. I work at the airlines. My education is in emergency management. And I know for a few years, for 4 years, I tried doing a net and trying to get CERT members, radio licensed and radio licensees, CERT, CERT qualified. I've taught a lot of preparedness groups at churches and such. And one thing I've learned is, you can try as hard as you want to get somebody involved or to get somebody prepared, or let's just say in this case, like part of your group, and contribute, or even just prepare their families. And the majority of people just aren't going to do it. So I've learned to kind of let those go, and I'm definitely gravitating more towards those who do want to be prepared and do have that interest. It really does take an interest and a desire to get your license, to be prepared, to store food, to get firearms and train. So that's one thing I would do is, like, for those out there that may not have an experience that yet, is just focus on those who have similar interests and group up with those and help educate each other and strengthen that core group. And I think overall you're going to be good going forward. And I look forward to your weekly nets now that I know you run these, Bob. So I appreciate it. Thank you. K5VOP, back to that.
All right, thanks, Paul. Any other last minute stuff? All right, hearing nothing, let's just go ahead and I will say 7-3. Thank you for everybody who joined in today. Great participation. I think this was a good net. I don't think we're done with this subject by any means. I've got a couple of suggestions for next week. KI5 Kev has a suggestion for 72-hour kits versus long term. I'm going to leave that open. I'm going to leave the live stream open for just a few minutes and flesh out maybe a couple of subjects. Anyway, guys, I'm going to return all the repeaters back to their normal operation and say 7-3. Thanks again for joining. This is Bob, K6UDA 7-3. Okay. Let me dive back over here. Let's see. Kev, your suggestion for next week, layering preps, 72-hour kits versus long term. Expand on that real quick for me. And maybe that's a good one. That's a great one. Expand that for me. And let's see if we could flesh that out. Let's see. My monthly nets for CERT Radio. Did that for 4 years with one topic per month. Wow. Monthly nets for CERT Radio had one topic each month. Was on water, food storage, radio, comms. Yep. And that's Paul, that's kind of what I'm trying to do here with this on a weekly basis. I think there's so many subjects and there's so many deep dives that we could do, that we could do this weekly. Jim, frequency, the frequency of the net. My repeater here in the Magic Valley is 444.500. We've got a few others, and it's once a week. It's on Saturdays. Missed the stream. Greetings from the UK. Trying to do a CERT, areas and disaster preparedness in West Virginia. Not a good return interest yet. It's there. It's there, my friend. You just have to keep digging. This net is in its infancy, but it's growing. It's growing every week. It takes time. It takes people. There's a lot of people that don't trust. They don't trust anybody. I have a trust issue. So it's, for me to share, I'm not sharing what I got, what I do, but I'm trying to facilitate everybody else sharing ideas. That's what this is all about, is sharing ideas, not so much, hey, I've got a year's worth of food. That ain't what this is all about. It's about sharing ideas, how to do what needs to get done. Let's see. Add in that I need to go to another county for an amateur radio club. Nothing in mind. Yep, and that hurts, but still, there's other ways to become part of a group or form a group, and it may be a group of 2 families. Who knows? You never know where this journey is going to take you. Situational awareness. Yeah, I think we all need a little lesson in situational awareness. HF in the future. That's kind of tough with a round table like this to include all these moving parts. HF is a tough component. And that also entails me operating 2 microphones. Yeah, Prep Ham Radio. The interest will be there post next disaster. Yep. Guys, awesome. Let's see. Who was it? KI5 Kev. Are you still in the chat there? Are you still listening? If you are, I would love to hear your idea for the topic. The 72-hour kit versus long-term food storage or long-term deal. We kind of did what's in your bug out bag, I think last week, was it? And there's always room to flesh these things out. Small topics. So, would love to hear a little bit more about what you think. Anybody else? Any other topics you guys want to talk about for next week? And then if not, I'm going to say 7-3 to you guys, and we'll go ahead and close out the live stream. All right. Somebody doesn't like to be prepared. Got 1 thumbs down, 31 thumbs up. All right, guys, I'm going to say 7-3. Thank you for joining. We'll see you all next week, and we'll try to put something equally fun together. 7-3.